Ranking member of the full committee, Mr. Jordan, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Manny, in opening statements from my Democrat colleagues, they said that the concerns in our food supply and concerns with pricing are due to, if I got this right, they said it's due to the virus, it's due to weather, and it's due to some large companies. But I didn't hear, and I had to step out for a different event. I just got back, but I didn't hear anything about the attack on American energy we've seen from Democrats. I mean, I sat in a hearing a couple months ago where a colleague of mine from the Democrat side of the aisle with oil and gas companies that there said, will you pledge today to decrease production? I'm like, what do they want? $8 gas? I mean, so everyone knows when you drive up the price of fuel, you drive up the price of every other good and service that the American people get, because it costs more to transport, in this situation that we're talking about today, to transport food products to the American people. I didn't hear any mention about the pipeline that they've stopped, which further exacerbates the problem when you tell American companies don't produce more, pledge to produce less, and oh, by the way, we're gonna get rid of a pipeline. I didn't hear anything of that, and frankly, I didn't hear anything. Maybe it's come up since while I was gone, maybe it came up, but I didn't hear anything about the record level of spending from Democrats, which has given us a 40-year high in inflation. And then my friend from Ohio, Mr. Needler, raised a potential remedy. I don't know if it's the right remedy or not, but it's a law that's on the books, the Robinson-Patman Act. And last time I checked, in order to bring that kind of action, it has to come from the FTC or the DOJ, and they're both controlled by Democrats. And I don't know any initiative from the FTC or the DOJ regarding that. So, I mean, I guess what's next, and we've already heard Democrat senators talk about this, is they're going to look at price controls, which anyone with any common sense in economics will tell you is only going to exacerbate the problem that we have. So am I missing something, Professor, or is that a fair summation of what we've heard?
That's pretty darn good. I don't know that I have too much to add to it. I as I said before, regulatory interventions for particular social or political purposes typically raise prices. Now, they may be justified or they may be thought to be justified, but pretending like they don't have that consequence is silly. So if you're looking for a culprit, that's doubtless one of them, part of it. I don't know how much, but it's certainly part of it. You're absolutely right about oil and gas in particular. As you said, there's just no question that if you curtail the production of oil and gas, you're ultimately going to end up raising transportation costs and then prices for consumers. Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know. But again, let's not pretend like that isn't the consequence. It absolutely is. With respect to the Robinson-Patman Act, I think there aren't a lot of areas in economics that everyone agrees on, virtually everyone agrees on. The consequences of Robinson-Patman Act enforcement is one of those. It shouldn't be surprising. The intention behind that law was to raise prices. So that Robinson-Patman Act enforcement would raise prices shouldn't be very surprising, but it absolutely does. Now, again, whether there may be some countervailing benefits to that, I don't know, but let's not pretend like that doesn't happen.
When you spend like crazy and create a 40-year high in inflation, when you make the cost of fuel higher, and when you add regulation, you will drive up costs. So those are the three things that we know have been done. And it seems to me the Democrats are suggesting we keep doing all three and somehow, it'll work this time. So I just don't see that. I think that's probably going to exacerbate a problem. If there's some real solutions that we can focus on, I'm all for them. But I don't think my good friends on the other side of the aisle are offering up those solutions. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentlelady from Pennsylvania, who is graciously managing a floor on the bill in a moment. A little out of